Does Juan Soto miss Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees? Did a Braves reporter go too far? And we ask Mr. 69 about the pressures of being a first round pick. All that and more next. What is going on, everybody? Your boy James the Greek over here, and I'm not going to delay any longer. Everybody wants to see him. I'm going to bring him in, Mr. 69, David Artema.
What's going on, James? Trying to just figure out how much head space is the correct amount of head space.
Yeah,
Don't yell at me anymore.
I yell at everybody. I'm just an angry freaking guy. What can I tell you? But you look beautiful as usual, pal. How you doing?
Doing good. It is going to be a nice weekend here, a nice little Easter weekend. So it's a little chiller, a little calmer around these parts. It's going to be in the 70s and not in the hundreds. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you have a chance to watch any baseball the last few days? A lot going on.
I've seen highlights. I haven't watched any games. It's been a madhouse around my house.
Okay, that makes sense. You know, you do have two teenage boys and a very what's the word I'm looking for when I use Andrea?
Not teenage. I got one teenage, one 12.
All right, preteen. He's going to be a teenager soon. Listen,
sports 24/7.
He's a teenager in spirit. And then you have a beautiful, wonderful wife that chases you around looking for loving all the time. So I can understand why you didn't have the chance to watch any games.
Yes. I haven't been watching a whole lot of games. Games don't get on too much because we're in and out.
Plus, you watch plenty of games watching JD and DZ all the time.
A lot of games, yes.
Yep. All right. Did you at least get to hear what's going on in New York with Juan Soto?
I did see the Juan Soto, and if you guys look at our YouTube channel, which you're probably watching this on, I made a little video on it.
Which I didn't watch because I wanted this to be organic. I really wanted your thoughts on what's going on. So Soto was talking to some reporters the other day. Great stuff. And they had this wonderful little quote from him. It's definitely different. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me. I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year. Okay. So everybody who saw this quote, who read this quote, is thinking that Juan Soto is unhappy with the New York Mets. I read this quote and I'm like, okay, what did he say that's different? What's wrong with what he said? He's completely honest and it's exactly what's going on. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, what are my thoughts? I think there's a couple things here. One, is everything you just said accurate? Yes, absolutely. It was exactly accurate. It is an analytical viewpoint of exactly what is happening. He had the greatest hitter in the world last year, arguably with Ohtani.
Yeah.
But he technically had a better season than Ohtani when you look at some numbers. Anyways, hitting right behind him. Everything is working. Short porch in right field. I think it had a lot more to do with Yankee Stadium. Also, at the same time, there was a lot of really good things happening. And it worked really well for Juan Soto and became very rich by doing it.
Yeah.
This year has been different. And no matter what you do, unless you have Shohei Ohtani behind you, you don't have the greatest hitter in the world behind you. And you're not going to have like the same reaction. I don't care who it is behind you. It could be Mookie Betts. It could be Freddie Freeman. It could be you just listed Ellie De La Cruz. It's not the same as when Judge and Ohtani are hitting behind you. So things are going to be different. They're not going to have to pitch to you. They're going to pitch around you. They'd rather put you on base and face anybody behind you and see where it goes. I'd rather face Lindor. I'd rather face Pete Alonso. I'd rather face Nimmo, Vientos, Winker. It doesn't matter. It's not the same. And that's being totally honest. A couple things. These are my real reactions on it. Is one, you are a $700 million man. Stop saying those things. And stop saying it.
Read the room.
Just don't say those things unless you're controlling the media. Unless you do it to your own interview and your own publication. You're a $700 million person. You should have your own production team making your own videos. Don't say it to Mike Puma. Don't go out there to the New York media, to the New York Post, and say these things. That is not going to go well. The New York media and the New York Post in particular does an incredible job at taking your words and spinning it to exactly the story they want to tell. If you're killing the ball, it's they can spin it to a great story. If you're not, they're going to take it as you don't like it with the Mets. You need a better hitter behind you to hit, and that's the problem I have with it. You control your words. You're not a reliever, the last man on the roster, and they don't care. You're the man. Be the man. If you don't have anything great to say about the team right now and exactly what's happening right now, do not say it. Don't talk about the Yankees. Don't talk about Aaron Judge. Don't talk about anything. Say, hey, Aaron Judge is a great hitter. It was great, incredible hitting in front of the greatest hitter of all time. I've got like the incredible hitters behind me right now. I've got Lindor right in front of me. I've got Pete Alonso right behind me. Yes, I am getting pitched a little differently, and it's hard for me to adjust. I'm swinging at some other pitches that I probably normally wouldn't be swinging at. I need to do a better job at that. But man, I love hitting in front of Pete Alonso. That's the quote. If you and it's saying the same thing, but you got to talk about your teammates and saying they're studs. You can't just mention the dude right across the street. And that's the point of contention we all had with him leaving the Yankees was, dude, you're leaving the greatest hitter, like had one of the best seasons ever right in front, right behind you, and you're leaving that. And you're leaving Yankee Stadium in the short portion. Everybody loved you for the Mets of all teams.
Right.
And so it just walks right into a giant firestorm. Like you walked into a firestorm. Everything you said was accurate and right. And like a whole lot of baseball guys that make it, dude, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But the problem is the media side is they're going to just churn it and churn it and churn it. And just like, dude, if you have another week of struggle, they're going to start asking your other teammates about that. That's the problem. Is when they have to go to Pete Alonso and say, wait, like, hey, like, what do you think about this? That's the problem, and they're going to do it because that's what they do. And if I always say this, especially in New York media, if you don't have anything great to say about your teammates and what's happening to you, then don't say it.
But I don't think he said anything against his teammates. I mean,
he didn't. Yeah. That's the thing about it. He didn't. Right. It's just with that quote, it's so easy to say, okay, well, Pete Alonso, you're not the greatest teammate in the world, and they want to pitch to you, so like you're not doing your job. And it's a stupid, it doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. And so it's something they can infer that you didn't say, but they can infer that you meant it.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's inference. You know, you have all these guys on WFAN here in New York, and most of them are Yankee fans, and they were pissed off anyway that Soto left because at the end of the day, sports reporters, sports broadcasters, what are we? We're sports fans, okay? So if you're a Yankee fan, like the guy in the afternoon drive in New York, the midday show in New York, he's sitting there and he's a Yankee fan. He's like, oh, see, he's saying that a Judge is the best player in the best hitter in baseball. Of course he misses the Yankees. No, that's not what he said. You're pissed off that he left, and you're trying to build a narrative that Soto wants to be a Yankee and he made a mistake. Soto never said anything like that. He was as honest as he could possibly be. And if you're sitting there thinking that it was a slight on anybody else, I personally don't take it as a slight. I don't think it's a slight on Pete Alonso. And I bet you in close quarters, if you ask Pete Alonso, what did you think? He would probably say, I don't give a damn what Juan Soto said. I'm hitting 365 with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs. I've got the highest OPS plus in slugging in the National League. What do I care what Judge is doing across the way? But it's that BS narrative that the New York sports reporting team wants to get out there to get more clicks. I guarantee you Soto does not, well, I can't guarantee anything, but I don't think that after 15 games, Juan Soto is saying, damn, I made a mistake signing here.
I just don't. Here's what I don't understand is why would you say that? Why would you say these things? Because here's the reality of it, right? Yes, you had the greatest hitter in baseball hitting behind you, but you're saying you got pitched differently because of that. Well, right now, the guy behind you has basically the same stats as that guy you're talking about. Because 7 home runs for Judge, 5 for Pete Alonso, 21 RBIs. Hits are 27 to 23, but there's also a gap in the bats. There's 3 gap in the bats. There's OPS is 1,300 to 1,200. Yeah. Like there are the data numbers are like, dude, like Alonso's killing it behind you.
Because it's true. They are pitching to him differently. And that's the honest to God truth. Because if you look at
and just sit there and stop swinging at it. Then swinging at it. Like the big thing you get signed for is how your plate discipline is so amazing. Well, you know, if they're pitching at you differently and they're throwing you balls outside the zone, you're swinging at it. It kind of sounds like that's your fault, dude. Like,
right. And I think a lot of that has to do with being a $700 million player. Now you put the pressure on yourself that now, oh, I have to be the guy because I am the big guy on the team. But if you look at the actual numbers, Will Salmon of The Athletic got it where it's of the players who've seen at least 100 pitches with runners on, Soto is seeing pitches in the strike zone 16% of the time. Okay, so fantastic. Use your plate discipline and take the walk.
and let
then
Alonso come up.
let Pete Alonso earn his $30 million a year, which he is doing. And Pete Alonso right now is happier than a pig in poop because he knows, oh, I'm going to opt out at the end of the year and somebody's going to give me big money because they see that, hey, I can handle it. And one more thing before I get back to this, and I don't want to forget this. 10 years ago when sabermetrics were a much bigger thing than they are now, in the public view, and everybody was saying to me, oh, protection isn't a real thing. If you look at the stats, bullshit. Now we can see hands down that protection in the lineup means something. So for all you sabermetricians out there, there's a reason why, Bill James doesn't have his own talk show.
So here's the question. DJ LeMahieu was the starting lineup for the Yankees for some of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the number one leadoff guy, or like whatever. There were some guys, but
right.
Would you rather have him or Lindor?
I'd rather have Lindor.
So he has a better hitter hitting in front of him.
Right.
Okay, I get it. He doesn't have Aaron Judge hitting behind him, but he's got a guy statistically that's right now the same.
Yeah.
And then he's got a better guy after that, right? So he's got a better guy in Nimmo maybe not Nimmo's not swinging it the same, but better. I would take Nimmo over Rizzo probably at that point.
Well, Stanton.
And Rizzo wasn't healthy. Oh, you had Stanton. But that's the thing about it, though. Like those 1, 2, 3, like where you're in the middle of that lineup, what really affects pitchers, that's arguably probably those 1, 2, 3 on the Moneyball aggregate is better than the Yankees 1, 2, 3 last year. It's just that you're the kind of the weak point right now in the middle. I get it. Lindor's not having the MVP style season he had last year, but he also wasn't having that at this point in the season either.
Yeah.
But also Alonso wasn't at this point in last year either. So Alonso's like way above what he did. It's just the rest of the lineup isn't really producing. Like Nimmo and Vientos really aren't. If those guys were hitting, that would change everything. And don't forget, everybody, I said Vientos, don't sit there and mark on your calendars. Vientos is the greatest hitter of all time, and he needs to be hitting behind Alonso, behind Soto, and he's just as good as Alonso. Look at the numbers right now, people. Wake up, open your eyes. That's called a sophomore slump. That happens. That's adjustments. That needs he's going to be a good hitter, just not this year. Like it's going to take a little time. And that's the reality. I got chewed out by Mets fans nonstop for saying the obvious thing that they just wouldn't say is Mark Vientos is not Pete Alonso.
No.
That's why you needed to sign Pete Alonso. Think about this lineup where they would be out without Pete Alonso right now. They would be trash.
They would be sub 500 without a doubt.
Yes.
And guess what? They're going to change the way they pitch to Soto eventually, because if you keep putting Soto on and Pete Alonso is making you pay, you're going to end up facing Soto so that you don't give up an extra run.
And then they're going to change how they pitch to Pete Alonso because they have to. And that's the thing. And it's going to be harder on Alonso, and it's going to become on Vientos and Nimmo or Winker or somebody to step up and be that guy behind Alonso, because right now Alonso's carrying this whole team.
Yeah. And let's not forget one thing. It has been abnormally cold in New York. I don't care who you are. It is tough to play baseball in April when it is cold. They've been in Minnesota. They've been in New York a few times. I mean, that's not easy. They showed a picture. I don't know. I know you're always on Twitter, but I saw a picture on Twitter the other day of Juan Soto just looking absolutely miserable. And of course, all the Yankee fans like, oh, look, he misses Judge. How about the fact that he's in Minnesota? He's freezing his ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wearing one of those.
Could have something to do with it.
Yeah, he's wearing one of those. What do you call those masks that you put where all you see is your eyes? He's wearing one of those while he's playing baseball. He's freezing.
Yeah. It's going to affect you a little bit, especially hitting.
Yeah, absolutely. So for you Mets fans that you're worried about Juan Soto, don't worry. For all you Yankee fans, enjoy the fact that you have a pretty good team. Stop sitting there and worrying about I mean, I've never seen anything like this where Yankee fans are paying so much attention to Mets fans. Guess what? It's an even playing field finally. You are no longer big brother. The Mets are not little brother. I'm not saying that the Mets are big brother. That would be absurd for me to say. But you're kind of on an even plane. So shut up. Enjoy the fact that you have, quote unquote, the best hitter in baseball and be done with it. Any thoughts?
I completely agree with you. Shut the hell up. Like start focusing on your team.
Yeah.
Focus on your team. You got a good team. You guys are killing it right now, but like there's some pretty dang good competition right now in the AL East. Like focus on that. Focus on your team. Let Soto be Soto. Who cares? But like you're not like significantly better than the Blue Jays right now. So and the Red Sox will be a better team once they actually start hitting, and the Orioles will be a better team once they start figuring all of it out. But you're going to be like, you're a good team right now, but a lot of that good team is started against the Brewers, and like without that point differential, like the run differential against the Brewers, you'd have probably a worse run differential than the Rays. So let's lock that in. And like the Red Sox have a -11 run differential and they still have 500. They're a better team. Like they are going to play better baseball. So be ready for better competition. Focus on yourself.
That's it. Bottom line. And last thing on this whole Mets Yankees thing, I have seen way too many players come to the New York Mets after signing a big deal and feeling like, oh, I've got to press. I've got to be the guy. It happened with Mike Piazza. It happened with Lindor. And it's happening with Soto. It takes a little while. I don't know why it happens like that with the Mets. Maybe because they still believe that they're little brother and I have to be the one to elevate them. It'll be just fine. I'm not worried about Juan Soto by any stretch of the imagination.
I think a lot of times it's because that player that they sign, they don't have like another guy on that same level. They don't have another guy quite there. So like when they sign a guy like or like when they first signed a guy like Lindor, he was pressing big time. When they signed a guy like Soto, he's pressing a little bit because he was like, all right, well his comps are Judge and Ohtani. Like, of course, there's no Judge and Ohtani, but like at the end of the day, just be Washington Nationals, Soto, be you. The you wasn't trying to rise yourself up to another level at the Yankee. The you was just great plate discipline, took a walk, base hit, and then hit a bomb. I honestly think a lot of it has to do with cold and it has to do with Yankee Stadium. Like that's a different monster. And when you sign somebody out of Yankee Stadium, it's a wholly different beast. That right field wall, like it's something that is just, it plays so much shorter than what the number even is.
If you asked me before the season, will Juan Soto have 40 home runs again? I'll say no, absolutely not.
No,
That's not his game. He is an on-base machine. He is a hitting machine. He will get his home runs. He's good enough to hit home runs anytime he wants, but he's got plate discipline. He's not going up there hacking, trying to go deep every time. So Mets fans, baseball fans, stop pretending that Juan Soto is somebody that he's not. We know what we got in Juan Soto. You know what he is. He is, like you said, Nationals and Padres Juan Soto. He's not Yankees Juan Soto. Never will.
Be in the 30s. He'll be in the 30s, and that's exactly what you should expect out of him.
Yeah, 400 on base percentage. He'll hit 280. He'll get you 33 home runs, and if Lindor can wake up, he'll get like 90 RBIs. Lindor, by the way, is really scaring me, not because of what he's doing at the plate, but he has been a butcher on defense this year, and I've never seen him do that, and that's the scary part for the Mets.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the rivals of the New York Mets, the Atlanta Braves, and we're going to play you a little video right now of a Braves reporter, and I want your take before I say anything.
Here up the Corona rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys feeling about rooting for the Braves today?
Oof, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
Not quite. All right, I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
I'm on it.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right, so they want me to get your number.
They want you to get my number.
I'm dead serious. They're saying in my ear right now. She doesn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up. Even if you guys weren't, I might use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
This is unbelievable.
So the best part of this right now is that Wiley could totally be faking it. This might be the new move. Just walk around with a FanDuel microphone and an earpiece in and convince fans that they're actually on TV.
I should have thought of this years ago.
I am speechless.
All right, David, what are your immediate thoughts?
Okay. My immediate thought when I watched it was, oh, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. Like when I'm watching, I'm like, don't do it. You're on TV, your job, and it is a delicate line between too interactive, and like there's a delicate line. As I've watched it more, I'm gonna say this. There's a couple conversations about it.
Yeah.
One is there a double standard? We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Two, this is the conversation I want. The reason I'm okay with this,
Yes,
is it wasn't him just doing it. It wasn't him sitting there like, oh, hey girls, do you come here often? And then yada, yada, yada. I want to get your number, and just being that, and just being the creepy head on guy.
No,
they don't know a difference, but what the difference was, and this for me is a massive difference. The people in the studio, the other announcers were the ones egging him on, giving him like a challenge, like you need to get their numbers. This is like a challenge from us. That to me made it a fun, enjoyable broadcast, something that like put a smile on your face, enjoy. They kind of challenged it and said, go for it. They gave him the go ahead, and makes good TV, makes fun, interactive TV with a really crappy baseball team. So it's like that to me is fun and fair and okay. And now I'm thinking double standard. Again, if a girl's up there and then does that with on her own, again, that's like, okay,
she's empowered.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it if it's just on your own. I don't like it either way. Your job is not to go pick up girls at a baseball game while you're working the baseball game. You're on TV. That is your job. If you can't figure it out in another way. But when if it was a girl and the other announcer's like, hey, I think that guy thinks you're cute. Get his number. You're single. And like, okay, you see her like, hey, they're telling me to get your number. You're cute. Awesome. I actually think I would be applauding that and think that's fun. That's engaging. It's baseball. And then, so I'm seeing it on X nonstop where female reporters are saying, this is the double standard. This is a girl. This is boom, 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 boom. Again, the difference is if it's the studio, the other announcers telling you, get his number. You can tell there's chemistry here. Go for it. Then it's like, it's cool. And like, that's what it should be. That's the enjoyable part of all this. Like, put a damn smile on your face and think, you know what? They said go for it, and they went for it.
Okay, hold on a second. There we go. I just needed to get limbered up because I'm about to go on a rant. Okay, number one, this is television. This is entertainment. What they did was entertaining. You're talking about it. I'm talking about it. They're talking about it all over Twitter. They're talking about it all over baseball. So what did they do? They accomplished their goal. They entertained, first and foremost. Second, Wiley did nothing wrong, like you said. If they're telling him, oh, get the numbers, he's completing the bit because that's what it is. It's a bit. It's entertainment. It's fun. Now, here's where I'm going to go off. Television, sports television, has always been to a certain extent about sexuality, if you will. Have you ever seen the sideline reporters, the female sideline reporters? Are any of them ugly?
Generally, no. But
okay.
It's like a salesman. Like you're there to look good as well as report the sports or whatever.
Exactly. The same thing as those girls that go into doctors' offices and convince them to buy the drugs that you're peddling, okay? They're all good looking. They all come from Arizona State somehow. I don't know how that works out. But regardless, okay, all of these women that have a problem with what happened, They're all good looking. And the only reason that they have their job is because they are good looking, and they're good looking for television.
That's
Tell me
it.
I'm wrong, Jay.
That's the rant. I
Tell
thought
me I'm
I
wrong. No, I'm
was
waiting for you to
prepared
go
for
on.
way worse.
Oh, I could go way worse, but because I don't want to name names and I don't want to talk specifics, but don't tell me. So you've got this guy, Wiley, getting a number for a bit that he was goaded into by the rest of the broadcasters, as opposed to all these female sideline reporters who are jock sniffers and end up marrying half of professional athletes. Am I wrong about that?
That's where I don't want it to go. And that's the thing about it.
You don't have to go. I'm going there.
That's a giant accusation across the female sports realm, and that's where the female sideline reporter is basically saying, "Screw you," because you guys give us this giant thing that you think we're always doing. Like, relationships happen. Falling in love with somebody happens. It's going to happen. But like you said, though, this is the best part. It's a bit. It's entertainment, and it was a bit. And when they sat there and said, you need to get their numbers, we'll give you whatever inning to get numbers, kind of like however they said it, just paraphrasing here.
Oh, you got 5 innings to get their numbers.
Yes,
that
immediately became a bit, and that became the joke. And there would be no difference if it was a female. Now, you might get a bunch of guys sitting out there, a bunch of chauvinistic assholes who sit out there and hate it. But I would be watching that going, that's a bit, and that's enjoyable, and that's fun. Again, it is a monster different just sitting there and hitting on the girl and doing it on your own, and then, or a girl hitting on a guy and saying, here's my number, call me, on your own, versus the studio saying, get their number, go for it. You got 5 innings to get their number, and to see that interaction and to see the fun in it. And to me, that's the enjoyment. This should be. We shouldn't sit here and celebrate it, but at the same time, we sit here and entertainment, be entertained. Watching a sideline reporter hit on somebody isn't entertainment. Watching them, the awkwardness of the studio telling them to hit on the person, and he did it in a he did it in a classy way. He wasn't a creep. He wasn't a weirdo. And if anybody thinks he's a creep and weirdo about it, you've got other issues that you are dealing with. He did it fine. Said, hey, they're trying to get me your number. I got to do it for them. Do you mind?
Yeah.
That's actually perfect. And it's great. And you know what? You know what I want after this? This is what they should do. The Atlanta Braves, mark this right now, the Atlanta Braves need to follow them on their first date, put a camera with them, and follow them on their first date and see how the romance grows. You never know. What a hell of a story to start a relationship. And then what? If they end up getting married or having a serious relationship, this is it. That's a reality TV show that you'd literally watch happen in real reality. And it's amazing.
Yeah, and guess what? If they did end up getting married, all those female reporters who are bitching and moaning now, you know what their narrative would be? This is so romantic. We got to see the budding of this relationship on television. But because they weren't the center of attention for once, it's a problem. And it's a double standard.
I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just a matter of they just see it as a reporter hitting on a fan. And if a female did it, I would have a problem with it. If a male did it, I would have a problem with it. That to me is don't go there.
Yeah.
But when they say, all right, you got to get the number, let's go. To me, I'm also someone that sees the fun in that and sees the enjoyment in this. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. As long as you're single and not in a relationship, go when they're go. This is now the bit that we just changed it from interacting with fans to, dude, you got to get their number. Let's go.
Yeah.
That becomes the fun part in it. And anyone sees it otherwise, I think it's just I think you're just trying so hard to be angry that there would be a double standard there, even though there isn't a double standard there. And again, the studio changed the whole game by pushing it. If they didn't push it, I definitely 100% would say, dude, no, you can't do that on air.
It's the delivery too, because if Wiley was misogynistic and he's sitting there in the park and they say, Wiley, what's going on down there? well, you're not going to believe it. We got a couple of hot broads over here. Let me see if I can take my shot and get one of their numbers. Completely different thing.
Gone, fired on the spot.
On the
and
spot.
I would be the first one saying, dude, done. Like, you can't do that. Sorry.
Yeah,
and if a girl did that, I would feel it too, but I guarantee you there'd be half the women out there going, yay, good for you.
Empowerment, yay, girl power.
But again, that's where it draws the difference is the studio's like, go for it. And he's like, okay, all right, girls, like, they're telling me I got to get your number.
Me, but they're in my ear right now telling me that I have to get your number. That is funny. It's
funny. Enjoy, put a smile on your face and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's all it is. Okay, because this has been bothering me for a couple days. I've been waiting to talk to you about this. You know what doesn't bother me, though? Thinking about all the fine young pitchers that can come out of Top Velocity Pro. David, tell me about Top Velocity Pro, and I already got you a client.
Yes, Top Velocity. Well, maybe Top Velocity Pro is your one-stop spot for all of your pitching and throwing needs. Come out here. Like, we got James got a friend who's going to come bring his son out from New York, and I do that all the time. Somebody comes out here for the weekend, I do it online, do it over video. I've got people that live here in Arizona, but they come here to be a better athlete, to be a better thrower. We got all the data you'll ever need, and anything you'll be able to get from anywhere, we have it here at Top Velocity Pro. Come out and reach out to me, topvelocitypro.com, Top Velocity Pro on all your socials. Hit me up and we'll talk, and we'll make you a better baseball player.
And I've got to be honest, the fact that you were so kind to my friend when we were FaceTiming probably put my big baseball card deal over the top. I ended up getting my Shohei Ohtani autograph from this man. So thank you, David, for saying, yes, I will help your son.
Perfect.
Dude, I'm so excited about my Ohtani auto. All right. Up next, you were talking about we have data. We're going to make you a better athlete. You know who's been better lately? Former first overall pick Spencer Torkelson. This guy has come out of the gates and has been showing the type of player that he is, already hitting 273, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, 18 hits overall. He is having a nice season. You saw what he did last year. It was bad. I don't want to talk specifically about Torkelson. We know he's got all the skills, and it's going to take a little time for him to, get there and be that consistent guy. But I want to talk to you, David. What is it like being a first-round pick and having all that pressure that, they just gave him a big signing bonus. He's the savior of the franchise, like they feel like with Jackson Holiday and like the Mets thought with Pete Alonso in the past. What's it like being that guy?
Well, okay, so there's a couple things here. One, especially specifically with Torkelson, like he went from 31 home runs and almost an 800 OPS to 10 home runs and a 669 OPS. Like, had such a fall off last year. It was so bad. It's incredible to see him back at it this year. He's going to be a core part of this Detroit Tigers team, and this whole Tigers they're so young. It's amazing. Gabriel Torres goes in, and we would think Torres would be young for the Yankees, and he comes in as the second oldest player on that lineup, minus Javier Baez, who's 32, and I can't believe he's in that lineup and hitting 290, but blows my mind. Anyways, everybody in the big leagues is somebody. That's the one thing about it. And that's the one thing we as media put more pressure on these guys than what they actually feel. Every single player is okay, ready? Here's Detroit Tigers. All right. Torres, obviously free agent, signed, whatever. But Gary Carpenter, awesome. 19th round. Amazing. But then you get Riley Green, first round, Torkelson, first round, Dylan Dinger, second round, and then obviously you just go up and down, Job is a first round. Casey Mize is a very first overall pick in the draft. Everybody's a somebody on the big leagues, unless you're a couple guys in there or you're a Dominican free agent sign. So everybody, Casey Mize has probably more pressure on him than Torkelson, and because Casey Mize has struggled in general a lot more than Torkelson to be that guy. But one-ones are a different breed. One-ones are a monster. 1-1s, everybody's judging you against everybody else. That you are the first pick. So to me, that's where the pressure does lie. And a lot of times it lies that internally a lot more than it does actually externally. Nobody on the team really cares that he was 1-1. It's a cool fact, but at the end of the day, you're in a lineup and be a teammate. And that's the thing you have to get over is the dude next to you was like the 5th pick. The other dude right down over there is the 7th pick, and that guy's the 22nd pick. Like they were borderline first picks too. So you got to kind of get past that and then go, dude, I just play my type of baseball. A lot of times that pressure comes on because you're so good at 18, but that's when you were at your best. And those guys fall off and we go, man, like you can handle pressure. Like, no, they were just the best at that age and they just didn't get better. To me, that's where you really have to do it. It's like playing in New York. The pressure from outside can be great if you're focused on the outside pressure. But when you walk in that stadium, you don't feel any different pressure. It's just baseball. It's the same baseball you would play as a kid, as you play in the minors, as you go to Miami and play, and there's no one there, or as you go in Yankee Stadium and the place is crazy. It's the same pressure. It's just how much pressure you put on yourself. And with a guy like Spencer, it's amazing to see him come back and play good baseball, but you can't sit there and think like it matters different. It doesn't matter, man. Just to the team, maybe, like the front office, maybe.
Yeah.
But to you, at the end of the day,
a lot more money in you as the 1-1.
Yeah, but you're not going anywhere as 1-1. You're not going to get traded. You're not going to get cut. You're going to have a lot more opportunities as 1-1. Like you can fail a lot more as a 1-1. Now, when you get traded, that changes because you're no longer 1-1 for that team, and that's when guys usually fall off. What?
All the pressure's off.
All the pressure.
Traded, yeah.
All the pressure's off. But again, there's no pressure there because it's all internal. Right. Internal pressure. Like you don't. If you're not thinking about that way, there is no pressure. The problem is when you get traded, that new team has no value in you minus the trade. They didn't draft you 1-1. They didn't spend the money on you. They didn't do anything minus whatever that trade value is. So now you're only worth that trade. Yeah. And if that trade wasn't a big trade, then so what? You got rid of the 25th guy on the roster. And that's when guys usually fall off because that's when they start adding pressure onto themselves. Like, oh, God, I'm not good enough for the Tigers. I'm now on the Cubs, and I have to now perform. Well, the Cubs are like, you're just a trade to us. You're not 1-1. You're a trade.
You know, something we have never actually talked about, not on the show and not personally either, is I know that you were always great with the media. That's how I met you. I would bring you on my show. But what I never asked you is when you weren't appearing on a show, were you listening to MLB Network Radio? Were you reading the papers? And,
no.
And are there guys in the clubhouse who do, and how does it affect them?
There's guys. I mean, again, I grew up in that generation where you had newspapers, right? And you had obviously have TV, but like we don't have the sports shows on. We got ESPN on maybe, but it's usually a game. There's games on. Mm-hmm. You're not watching like Sportsnet. You're not watching like these channels. You're not watching ESPN. You're not watching Stephen A. Smith. No one's watching you in the clubhouse.
Right.
We want nothing to do with you because all you are is BS nonstop because you have to make a headline. And like when all these players say, oh, I pay attention to Stephen A. Smith, the hell are you paying attention to Stephen A. Smith for? His only job is to talk crap or to talk about how you're the greatest thing. That's it. There's no in between. And so we don't pay attention to that. Now, a lot of times with social media, the problem is it gets shoved in your face. Yeah. And even social media figures out your algorithm that you play baseball. So they send you baseball writer stuff and stuff like that and opinions. And you have a bad night, you just get a million people telling you to go kill yourself. Which is pretty normal, especially when you're in New York. Like you just have a bad night, and all of a sudden I tell somebody like, "Hope your family burns in a car crash." Thank you, dude. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. I gave up a run in 162 games. I gave up a run, but thank you. You're a good human being.
I remember watching this guy.
Are you going to pay attention to it?
I remember watching this guy in Washington, and he gave up a couple of runs in as a reliever, and he was just destroyed by the fans. I mean, they were cursing him out. I mean, granted, I was that fan and you were the pitcher, but I was doing it.
Yeah, but it's like watching I started watching the clubhouse thing, right. And it's like Kristen Cassis, or Duran, like these guys, or Bayo. He said basically a fan told him and his family need to die in a car crash, like walking out of a stadium, and that's what you see on social media because it's so easy on this. So stop looking at it.
Yeah.
Post, do not read. You post your story, be your media guy, like you're talking about Juan Soto earlier, be your production company. Do not read the posts. Do not read the posts ever, because you're going to start believing you're the greatest or start believing you're the worst and horrible things should happen to you. And that's where the pressure. Now it's like social media. You pick up your phone and you have media. Where you used to have to find a newspaper or turn on a TV and find the channel. Like, nope, you just open your phone and it's like, Siri suggests that you should look at this X post talking about how horrible you are. Like, maybe I shouldn't.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. Let's play a little hypothetical. It's 2033 or something.
Yep.
JD Ardsma is just drafted in the first round by the New York Mets. Do you tell your son, I want you to delete your Twitter, I want you to delete your Instagram, delete all that garbage because it's not going to do anything? Or do you realize the value of it as a baseball player trying to market himself?
I'm going to have him hire somebody to do it for him.
Yes,
Pay
so
the money.
I got a job coming, baby.
Legitimately pay the money. Like, this is, I would tell anybody, if you sign for over a certain value money where you matter and you can market yourself, you pay the money to have somebody post-production stuff for you. If it costs you $50,000, $100,000, you'll make more on marketing if you're doing it right. Have them post, have them read posts, have them message the positive people. Just delete the horribles and to handle it. And I would, and I honestly, what I would do if I were him, I'd create a burner account and so I can look at what I want to look at and enjoy myself without people knowing who I am.
Right.
And have somebody running my account. And then I would say, okay, these are the things I want out there. Say this, handle it, but then let them handle the interaction. Let them handle creating videos, creating pictures and stuff like this. That's exactly what I would do.
And you need to have at least 2 cell phones. No, it's true. Why not? Tell me why you wouldn't have 2 cell phones.
You're trying to explain to me why you need 2 cell phones. Tell me why you need 2 cell phones.
Very simple. Because I have one for immediate friends and family. And I have one that the reporters know, because that's the one thing that really sucks. You know, if you have the one phone and the reporters know your phone number, they're going to reach out to you. They're going to text you, et cetera, et cetera. And we all know that there are plenty of reporters who are just waiting for you to say something stupid so they can go out. They're not looking to protect you like, some other guys. I mean,
yeah,
I remember.
But I'm okay with them having the same phone, and you just be smart about who you give it to. And honestly, anybody who really wants to talk to you can talk to you in person or go through your rep or your agent, and you just handle it. It's really not that difficult.
Oh, I disagree, because you know what? The rep, the agent, they will keep you shielded. If they don't want you talking, like, okay.
No, but that's the problem, though. That's your conversation with the rep and the agent, and the thing. The ones that want to be shielded need to be shielded. Shield them.
Right.
And the ones that, but if you're a good person, if you're me now, like, you sit there and you know who the person is, like, I've got no problem giving it to you. I know who you are.
Yeah, but that's you now. If you're an
no, me as a player, I gave it out to player. I gave it out all the time, like to the people I respected and the people I said, "This, cool, I can give this." But 99.99% of the time, as a player, you don't have to give it out to anybody. They're in the clubhouse,
right? But
like, what am I going to do? Like, give it out to some like kid on social media? Like, who am I talking to that's not in the clubhouse?
Yeah, but I'll just tell you how it works behind the scenes. You never gave me your phone number.
Yeah.
I got it from another producer, and you trusted that other producer, but you didn't know me. So that other producer breaks your trust, gives me the number, and then you get a phone call.
The other producer asked me if I was comfortable if like people with XM radio. And I'm like, yeah. Like,
okay, but that's not always how it works.
With that.
It very rarely works like that. They don't ask the player and say, "Hey, do you mind?"
It's going to we're taking this to like too many levels where it's like, okay, dude, like if a reporter from anything legitimate texts you and says, "Hey, I am so and so from XM Radio. Do you mind doing an interview?" Right. Cool. Hey, I'm so and so from ESPN. Great. If I'm like, hey, I got this random podcast and I'm a nobody you know. I got a problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like. No, I'm not comfortable with that unless I know you or whatever. But I was also somebody who I said yes.
Yeah, no, you were a yes guy. But I know for a fact, like Brandon Phillips, I had like 6 phone numbers for that guy. He was just like, yeah, if I don't want you to find me, you ain't finding me. And I always
think there might have been other reasons for multiple phones for a lot of players. And you don't need to be doing that.
we're not going to discuss that. All right. Now, Spencer Torkelson, however, was not on your Mount Rushmore for the Detroit Tigers, but now we are going to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and let's find out who's going to be on the Mount Rushmore for the Dodgers. All right, so we're talking about the Dodgers, and what I love about getting to a team like this is there's so many guys in their history that you can put up there. So it's really cool that we're going to be narrowing it down. So, David, who is your number one?
Okay, Dodgers are a very difficult one. Dodgers might have been one of the most difficult, but I'll say this: it gets that they're top heavy, but they get kind of thin pretty quick. Like it's like really meaningful Dodgers get a little thin, a little quick. Oh my God, did I miss? I did miss somebody. Oh my God, I did miss them. All right, well, we're gonna have to handle it and deal with it. Anyways, my number one. I'm gonna. What?
Just for everybody's reference, David comes up with these lists, so you can yell at him. His email address is Dave. Never mind, David.
But here's the rules too. So if I pick a player, they cannot be on anybody else's list. So stop giving me crap about Nolan Ryan because he can't be a Met. He's not going to.
Well, no, I wasn't giving you crap about that.
I got crap from other people, dude. Stop. So that he can't be a Ranger, he can't be an Angel, and he can't be an Astro all at once. He has to be on one of those. And when you're dealing with the Angels and you got like two guys, like, okay, Nolan Ryan kind of is for sure the third one. Like, he's there. He made it. All right. Anyways, I'm going right out of the gate. I'm going to shake the tree a little bit. Clayton Kershaw.
Fantastic. One of the greatest pitchers that we've ever seen. Incredible. Where's my number? I'm pretty sure he does it because of me. Just dominant his entire career, winding down right now. And I'm happy to see that he's getting to enjoy the fruits of his labor being there all those years. And he doesn't have to be the dominant guy in getting his rings.
Yes, he's incredible. Three-time Cy Young winner, 10-time All-Star, 5-time ERA title. He's won the Triple Crown, 2020 World Series, won the World Series last year, Gold Glove, Clemente Award winner too. The thing is, like, what hasn't this guy done? 112 wins. I get it, but that's like day and age today. 112 wins is incredible. But here's the thing: 112 and 94 with a 2.5 career, dude. Like, dominant. I get it. Struggles in the playoffs, but honestly, a lot of that struggle has a lot to do with the Astros and that World Series where we know they were cheating and there was really no ramifications to basically say, dude, like, they knew what pitches you were throwing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so the dude has been absolutely incredible. And I think he gets a lot of slack for his playoff stuff just because it's not on par with some other dudes, but like, let me say this. He's more average in the playoffs than how great he is a regular season. That's the problem. He's got 4.4 ERA in the playoffs. And again, a lot of that though, I think it comes from that Houston series actually wasn't all that bad. I don't know. He just hasn't been the same guy. It sucks.
Yeah, maybe the pressure gets to him. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I heard he's one hell of a ping pong player though.
Incredible. He's just an all around one of those guys. Is all around everything athlete.
Okay. Who's your number two guy on the
My
Mount Rushmore?
number two, we got to celebrate him a couple days ago. One of, if not the most influential baseball player, if not men in the 20th century, Jackie Robinson.
I mean, they've made movies about him. He broke the color barrier, and what he was able to do on the field, dealing with the amount of bullshit that he dealt with off the field, is incredible. I don't know how you focus. That guy might be the most mentally tough human being in the history of the world.
And a lot of people forget too, he served for our country in World War II. An absolute stud, broke the color barrier, obviously, was everything. What sucks with him and what sucks with some of those first initial African-American players, he didn't really get to play until he was 28. So you missed those prime years. Like at 28, I think it was in 1947, I think he was rookie of the year, right?
Yes.
I think he's rookie of the year, but like those numbers could have been his third or fourth year, which means those numbers could have been bumped.
Right.
And like his overall numbers, none of his overall numbers you're going to walk away go, oh my God. Yes, he hit 313, but like in a day and age where 313 was good, not like, guys
It's
rating
not like
406.
313 today where you're the best hitter in baseball.
Yes, 313 today, you're like, holy God. It was a different animal back then. But like, he wasn't a big home run guy. Like, he was 19 was the most home runs. His stolen bases were great, but it wasn't like he was out there stealing 50. He sold 37, led the league once, but it's like that was the most, and the next most was 29, and then 25, and like it wasn't like. But he was just overall just everything. Colorberry with a smile on his face and grit in his veins, and like it was just incredible everything he did. Not to mention MVP, World Series, 7-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, won a batting title, obviously a Hall of Famer, and his number, rightfully so, is worn on every single shirt on that Tuesday, on the 15th,
and retired in every single stadium in baseball, as it should be. Okay, who do you have for number 3?
Greatest pitcher of all time for a short period of time when he was in this tight, short period. I don't know if anybody ever had a better run for a short period of time. Sandy Koufax.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but Sandy Koufax, incredible pitcher. And like you said, he had a very short period of dominance, but he was ridiculously good.
Yeah, like a 4 or 5 year, a really 4-year run of dominance that just, I don't know. It's just, 188, 174, 204, 173, 27 wins, 26 wins, 25 wins, 19 wins. Like 9 losses was the most he had in that run. 330 some odd pitched innings, and strikeouts just through the roof. Let's get through the other stuff. He was an MVP, 3-time Triple Crown winner, which is just ridiculous. 3-time Triple Crown winner, 2-time World Series MVP, 4 World Series titles, 3-time Cy Young winner, Major League Player of the Year twice, 5-time ERA winner, and this all happened in this like condensed little thing because he wasn't that good, and then it was like, and then his shoulder blew out.
Now, personally, there are 2 pitchers that I would take at their peak over Koufax.
What do you got?
Pedro, when he was with the Red Sox, a couple of those 2-3 year span, dealing with the AL East in the steroid era, putting the very similar numbers to Koufax, I think that's way more impressive. And then when I look about, and call me a Met fan, whatever, but Jacob deGrom, what he was able to do for that 3-year span, 4-year span, is right there with Koufax.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, and there's times like, but again, it's like, it's hard comparing those generations, and right. I get it 100%. I'm there with you, and I think there's great arguments for it. And I'd say Bob Gibson too, and like that 68, 69 seasons, whatever. Like Bob Gibson's like, oh my God, like when they changed the rules of the game because of you, that's just. Yeah. To me, there's not a better compliment in the world when they change rules because of you.
Yeah, actually, while we're doing it, I just want to look up real quick Pedro's numbers, because there was one year in particular that I looked at. In 97, he was 17-8 with a 1.90 ERA with 13 complete games, 4 shutouts. His ERA plus was 2.19.
Yeah.
And then he had another year, the following 2 years later, he had a 2.07 ERA. He went 23-4. Dude. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
So again, not taking anything away from Koufax. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He deserves to be talked about the way that we're all talking about him. But I just wouldn't crown him as having the greatest little period of all time, because it is questionable. The thing that bothers me about Koufax, though, is he's so shy. And I would love if they were able to promote him better, like they do Griffey, like they do Jeter, because he is one of the best living baseball players, and we really don't see too much of Koufax.
Yeah, and that's the thing, but again, like that was the mystery of him when he played too. Yep. He wouldn't play on the Sabbath. He wouldn't do stuff like there was, like I love it. I got to meet him. I got to have a couple great conversations with him. He helped me out a little bit on some of my pitches, and it's one of those beautiful mysteries.
Yeah. All right. Who's up next for you?
Okay. Now going back to my list and realizing what I missed, I realized I didn't miss anything. I made a decision. And then sometimes, so I made this a little while ago. Now I'm looking back going, like, how did I miss this guy? But I didn't miss him. It was purposeful. But we'll get back to that. The next one was I'm throwing out from left field. We're talking about the Mount Rushmore. This is like, who's a Dodger and who do you see as a Dodger, and like, who's the face of the Dodger? Like, Vince Scully would have been a really interesting one here.
I wouldn't have had any problem if you put Vince Scully up there.
But I feel like you got to have a uniform to be that guy, you got to be on the field. And I think there's a big difference for that. But on the field also means being a manager. Tommy Lasorda.
Tommy Lasorda, one of the most entertaining managers of all time. He transcended baseball to the point where I remember I was a kid and I would watch sitcoms and Lasorda would show up. He ended up showing up on Silver Spoons. He ended up showing up on Who's the Boss? I mean, for a manager to be that famous, it's very rare. And yeah, when you close your eyes and you think about the Dodgers, there's some faces that come up, and Tommy Lasorda is one of them.
Tommy Lasorda selling some pasta. Like, it's incredible. Like, he was Dodgers. He was the face of Dodger baseball. They've had amazing players come through there, especially in LA. There's a Brooklyn Dodgers side, and then there's an LA Dodgers side. When you think of LA Dodgers, he's it. It doesn't matter who else, how many amazing players they've had on that team, including what they have right now, and Clayton Kershaw. Like, I think of Dodger baseball, I think more Tommy Lasorda than I even think Clayton Kershaw. I think Clayton Kershaw ended up being a manager ended up being a great player. I think Lasorda was the Dodgers for so long, and like, there's nothing like it. Again, two World Series, two-time Manager of the Year, four pennants, obviously Hall of Famer, 1,599 wins overall as a manager, and every single one of those as a Dodger.
And thank you, Tommy Lasorda, for doing your friend Vince a favor and drafting Mike Piazza, because without you, Mike Piazza would never have been in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, I love everything about Tommy Lasorda. Just like, yes, some people behind the scenes might not have liked him because he's a little tough, and I heard some stuff about some things. But again, my interactions have always been amazing. Watching Tommy Lasorda in his undies, telling me a whole story about Kirk Gibson and putting Kirk Gibson in, and all the conversations, the whole game with Kirk Gibson about trying to get him in before during the World Series. He is Dodger baseball.
And I wouldn't have had a problem if you took Tommy Lasorda out and put Branch Rickey in. I think that's a guy that is synonymous with the Dodgers as well.
That would have been really interesting, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Who is your first man out?
First man out. So this is where I always have a problem with this. I can't just pick one, and I almost wanted to pick three. But I picked two. So Pee Wee Reese is out. That's where I had like the struggle. Because here's my thing with Pee Wee Reese. Incredible baseball player. I think he was great for his time and his place. And on those teams, he was wonderful. He was a 10-time All-Star, World Series champion, but never really just excelled at one thing. Just didn't really separate himself. But then I look back at Duke Snider. Duke Snider was a little different beast, man. Like, I get it, 8-time All-Star, but he's Player of the Year, 2-time World Series champion. But like, you look at like his stats across the board, kind of blows like Pee Wee Reese away, and just jumps off the page a little bit more. There's a whole lot of black on his baseball reference page, and I have him tied with Don Drysdale, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, 3-time World Series champion, Cy Young winner, 9-time All-Star, Player of the Year as well. And again, just kind of some of his numbers and some of his years jump off the page a lot more than Pee Wee Reese.
I got one more guy that you probably thought of but didn't add to the list. How about Maury Wills?
Maury Wills is great, but he was really when you look at him and his impact was not on the same level. Like, I would rather have Oral Hershiser go Hodges. I'd rather go with Ron Say. I'd rather go with Don Sutton. I'd rather go with and then that's not even getting into some of the old days of the Brooklyn Dodger days of some of those guys. And again, like Oral, Fernando, like Steve Garvey, like Roy Campanellis, like that's like they had probably even more of an impact than Murray Wills. Murray Wills, though, like from a stolen base standpoint, was absolutely incredible. Great baseball player.
Dude hit 299 one year with 104 stolen bases.
Oh, without a doubt. But then I'm like looking at that, like, cool. He had 299 one year. Like, that's great. Like Don Sutton had 25 wins and Cy Young winner and 314 inning pitch. Like he had an ERA of 2.9 for a career. And then you look at Duke Snider, like he was 295 for a career.
I'm not trying to elevate him.
It's like those are like some of those things when you're looking at it and going like, Murray Wills, like one of the first baseballs I ever had signed was Murray Wills. I love Murray Wills. Like he was incredible to meet. I remember right where I met him. I'll never forget meeting him at like 11 years old. But then you look back and go, damn, some of these guys, God dang, they had great careers.
All right, now we're going to go to my favorite part, the guys who could make it in. And I'm sorry, but that Mount Rushmore is going to be changed soon because there's a guy.
There's a guy, and I think so it's hard because the way I'm looking at this is there's two guys that just jump off the page, and it's Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts. Shohei is so new to being a Dodger 1 year in, right? And he's on his second year. First year, pretty dang good. But then you got a guy like Mookie Betts. And ever since he's been a Dodger, right, he was MVP 2, All-Star, MVP 5, MVP 2, MVP, whatever it was last year, MVP 13. Like, how can you, like, he's doing what Shohei's doing.
Yeah.
Shohei has to do this for 5 more years to do what Mookie Betts has done. And so I think Shohei has a leg up in just how impactful his first year was. But if he doesn't do that, if like 3 years in a row, like Mookie Betts would be higher. And I just don't know if Mookie Betts or Shohei is going to be around long enough as a Dodger to be on this list. And that's going to suck because neither one of them will be on anybody's list.
I disagree. I said it last week. I think that Shohei is already the Angels guy just because he's been able to do it on both sides of the plate. And I don't think he's ever going to be able to duplicate what he did on both sides of the field with the Dodgers like he did with LA. I don't think he's going to get enough innings in like he did with the Angels. So that's why I put him in with the Angels. But if he ends up becoming a Hall of Famer and a 7-time MVP with 4 MVPs with the Dodgers, you got to put him on the Dodgers, I guess.
I think he's not even going to have to do any of that to pass what he did with the Angels. Like it's going to be just like another MVP and just like 3 more years of whatever he's done, even close to what he's done. He's already going to pass his Angels numbers. It's just a matter of, can he stay healthy? Can he do it? He's already 30. He's 30, 31. Like these are prime times. He's going to have 4 or 5 prime years. It's just like Mookie's already got numbers ahead of him. And like, if you compare the numbers, Mookie Betts is like pretty up there as far as already like Mookie Betts. Like if he just keeps having a couple more of the years, it's just a matter of like, okay, how many more years can he have? Like, it just sucks for Mookie Betts. Cause like he spent some amazing years in Boston, some amazing years in LA. You're not going to make the Mount Rushmore of either.
Right.
It's just, but if he has like 3 more really good years, borderline Mount Rushmore for the Dodgers, he'll never make it for the Red Sox, but like he just didn't play there long enough. But like, if it's such just this weird spot for both of them, but either way, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm such an Ohtani fanboy. If that guy went to the Mets, I would have never left the park. I'd be sleeping in that stadium. All right. That'll do it. And before I forget, speaking of Ohtani, we are going to have a very special show coming out. I'm going to release it this Thursday that you were nice enough to donate those beautiful blue eyes to do the voiceover and do the video. We're going to be doing a video called The Business of Shohei Ohtani. It'll be right here on the channel. Very proud of it. You know I'm an Ohtani freak, so give it a watch, give it a like, and don't forget, give this show a like, give this show some comments, and make sure you subscribe. Like I said, we have an extravaganza going on for our first 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to pick a random person, and they're going to get a graded Ohtani rookie, Gunnar Henderson rookie cards, Bobby Witt, Jackson Merrill, any guy that you can think of that's a rookie that's come out in the last few years. I'll send them to you, but you have to subscribe to be involved.